I want to talk to you from a thought which is called Build the House. And one of my favorite things to watch on TV is like home remodeling shows. HGTV, anybody? Great, mostly women. Cool. Flip or Flop, Hack My House, Love It or List It, Fixer Upper, Tiny House Nation. Anything else? This Old House, Trading Spaces, Property Brothers. Come on. Fixer to Fabulous. Extreme Home Makeover, right? What do they say? Move that bus. Good TV right there. But you see these like decrepit, unusable, unlivable, uninhabited, or no one would want to live there, or crammed house, or just like super outdated. And you're like, how could they live there? And there are these people that are living there for years and years and years, and either they're clueless or they know what's happening, but they're frustrated. They don't know how to get out of the situation that they're in. They don't know how to make the changes. They don't have the eye for it. They don't know what's wrong with everything that's going on in the house and the living space and the closet space, all that stuff. But then all of a sudden, these two visionaries come, right? You get a Hillary and you get a Jonathan and a Drew. You get a Chip and good guys. And they come in and they see things that you don't, and they fix things and they move things around. And some of them, they literally got to get down to the studs, almost down to the foundations. They do the interior, they do the exterior. There's a rebuild, there's renovations, and they're making it better than it ever was. And of course, there's always obstacles, right? In the 30 minutes of the show, there's got to be drama, right? Oh my goodness, I don't think we're going to finish. It's like every time you're like, and yet we're still like have anxiety, right? We're like, oh my goodness, are they going to finish? Are they going to have the budget for it? Are they going to be able to do everything that they wanted to do when there's all this drama and there's all this anxiety and we're not sure what's going to happen? And they're like, I don't know if we have the time or if it's worth it. And these shows are a lot like life. Some of us have been through some stuff. I think most of us have been through some stuff. Some of us are going through some stuff right now. Some of us are clueless about what's going on. Some of us are frustrated, wanting more, wanting better, been in the same living environment for years and years and years, and you feel stuck and you don't know how to get out of it. You don't know how to renovate the space. You don't know how to change your environment. And you need somebody to come in and do some interior, do some exterior, and come in and go down to the studs, really, really strip everything down and be able to say, hey, I would move this over here, or I would do this, or I'd fix this. And especially when you have God, who's the master builder, the master contractor, who actually created you and knows how you're supposed to look and how you're supposed to be put together. I mean, he's the ultimate architect of your life. And of course, there's always going to be drama because there's an enemy. And he's going to come against you because he doesn't want the church to be built. He wants, of course, the gates of hell to prevail. So there's going to be drama. There's going to be anxiety. There's going to be moments where there's a pushback because he doesn't want you to grow and he doesn't want you to move forward and gain traction in your life. But man, the master architect, like when he gets it all done and there's that big reveal, like that move that bus moment, and it's mind blowing, and you start to talk about the changes that are in your life, people actually start to notice, like, oh my goodness, I remember when. Like even some of the testimonies we just saw with David Paniagua and Atina and everybody else and Nellie and Brunilda and Ruthie, like you're like, I remember when, but now look what God's done, and it's mind-blowing. It's noticeable to people. And so we keep walking, we keep fighting, we keep pushing forward, we keep building. He will not fail, so we will not fail, and the gates of hell will not prevail. And I reject the lies that are in my head saying, I'm too small, I'm too tiny, I'm too old, I'm too falling apart, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too whatever. No. He sees the finished product. He sees what he's created, and what he started, he will bring to completion. We're going to read a bunch of scriptures and prophecy today. It was written to specific people. It was written to a specific person. But I want you to grab these for you. So I want us to say, it wasn't written to me, but I'm going to grab it for me. It wasn't written to me, but I'm going to grab it for me. You ready? We're going to be in several books today. And listen, why we're doing Walk with Jesus. Why we're doing Walk with Jesus. At first, somebody was like, hey, Jordan, you need to exercise. I was like, excuse me, I walk with Jesus. So I was like, okay, don't even. Why we're doing Walk with Jesus is we're going through, of course, looking for Jesus in all the scriptures, and it's important to study your scriptures. It's important to love your scriptures. Your scriptures come alive when you really dig into it, and you really study, and you should know, who wrote it, and who did he write it to, and why they were written, and when it was written, and why it was written for, and ask all the questions, right? And so we're going to be in these 6 books of the Old Testament: Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Haggai, Zechariah, Malachi. Now, Esther, we're talking about Wednesday. Malachi, we're going to talk about a little bit later. So we're going to be in 4 of those, but all 6 of those happen exactly at the same time, towards the end of the Old Testament, even though I know Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther were written kind of in the middle of, or were placed in the middle of the Old Testament. So it kind of gets confusing, but if you ever look at a timeline, it's just good to see when things were actually happening, and then dig in, why was it placed there and all that stuff. But we're going to be in these 4 books: Ezra, Nehemiah, Haggai, and Zechariah, all written at the same time, all written after the fall of Jerusalem, after Israel was with Babylon as captives, and then after they returned back to Jerusalem. Remember, Israel was a nation. King Solomon builds this gorgeous, elaborate temple with cedar from Lebanon and gold from Ophir and all this incredible stuff, right? Like all the best jewels, all the best products and wood and all that stuff. And then Israel and Judah split as separate nations, both having their own kings. Israel sinned, Babylon took them over. Judah sinned, Assyria took them over. Then Babylon beats up Assyria, takes both Israel and Judah. Then Persia beats up Babylon. And King Cyrus now, he lets all of Israel go home. He says, go on, get out of here. You guys can go home. And Jerusalem's in ruins. The temple is in ruins. The house of God is in ruins. Their home were in ruins. The land was in ruins. And 50,000 Jews go back to Jerusalem under the leadership of a man named Zerubbabel. The plan was to rebuild the city, rebuild the temple, rebuild the walls. The rest of the Jews stayed back in Babylon, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Nehemiah chapter 3 says the Jews that go back to Jerusalem get right back to working. They start with the walls, and then they go to lay the foundations of the temple. And David, hundreds of years prior to this, prophetically asked the questions, Psalm 11:3, if the foundations are destroyed, what can the righteous do? The answer is, build it again. If the foundations are destroyed, build it again. If the foundations of your marriage, if the foundations of your job, your spirituality, your faith, your hope, your trust, your confidence, if the foundation is destroyed, what can you do? Build it again. You take out the rubble, you take out your broom, you clean it, and you build it back again. You get to work. It's not going to build itself back. And living with a broken foundation is no way to live. It's not sustainable. It cannot support what God wants to build in your life. So Ezra chapter 4 and Nehemiah chapter 4, both books, chapter 4, verse 1, says, when the enemies of Judah heard that they began to build the house of the Lord. When they heard that they began to build the house of the Lord, it says they went in opposition. They were okay with them going home. They were okay with building their own houses. They were okay with doing some renovations on their homes and fixing everything and saying, oh, the lamp goes here and the chair goes here and, oh, let's remodel the kid. They were fine with that, but as soon as they go to remodel the house of God, it says the enemy comes in opposition. No, you can go home. Sure, go home, get comfy. But no, you're not fixing up the house of God. And if you want to still worship, you gotta worship in this dilapidated, depressing building of rubble. When they heard that, they began Listen, as soon as you begin something for the Lord, as soon as you say, I'm going to get baptized, as soon as you say, hey, I want to serve in ministry, I want to get in a community group, I want to go to newcomers reception, whatever it is, as soon as the enemy comes in, as soon as he wants to take you out at birth, he wants to take you out at your weakest. He did it with Moses with Egypt, and Jesus with Herod, and the early church with the Pharisees. As soon as you make a decision to follow Jesus, man, the enemy comes in, because he doesn't want you getting strong. He doesn't want you walking on your own. He doesn't want you feeding yourself. He's going to come in right in the beginning stages. He doesn't want the house of the Lord being built. This house or this house. And the enemy will try anything. As we read through the Bible, reading through Ezra and Nehemiah, it says the enemy tried cooperation first. He tried to cooperate with them first. That didn't work. Then discouragement and insults, that didn't work. Then fear and threats and intimidation. The enemy won't stop, but guess what? We won't stop neither. Christian life is building and battling, building and battling. Nehemiah chapter 4:17 says, as the workers worked, they always had a sword in one hand and a tool in the other. We build and we battle. We build and we're ready for whatever the enemy has to come against us with. And then the enemy finally, he goes all the way up to the government, and he gets them involved. And the last verse in the book of Ezra, chapter 4, the last verse in the last chapter of Ezra, it says, thus the work on the house of God came to a standstill. It's a sad verse. They paused it, they shut it down, and 17 years go by. This is so sad. They allowed the enemy's tactics to stop them from building and moving forward and getting stronger. They stopped the house of God from being built, the place where they would sacrifice and worship. 17 years stuck. It's a long time. So 17 years later, we now come to the books of Haggai and Zechariah. We were in Ezra and Nehemiah. Now we come to Haggai and Zechariah. And these two were prophesying around the same time. And we see Zechariah prophesying and pleading with the Jews who were still in Persia to flee and get out of there. He's like, God's about to destroy this place. And if that wasn't enough, he's like, and God is about to come and live amongst you. He's prophesying that Jesus is about to come. So God is about to destroy this place. Plus, he's about to come live amongst you. Wouldn't you be like, man, let's get out of this place. Let's go live with God. Not only do we not want to die, but we get to go live with God. Imagine having the choice of freedom and choosing to stay stuck. They were comfortable, they were complacent, they had settled. They were like, man, I don't want to pick up a sword or a tool. I don't want to lift a finger. Here we got everything. It's like when the Israelites were in Egypt, right? They were like, man, we should go back to Egypt. Or when they left Egypt, they were like, we should go back to Egypt because over there we had some food, and over here we're in the desert, we got to walk, and our sandals, like all this bad stuff is happening. And at least back in Egypt, they were delivered out of Egypt, but they had not walked into the freedom of the promised land yet. And many times we confuse deliverance and freedom. We confuse liberation with liberty. Like we're heaven bound, but we're doing donuts in the desert. We settle. But see, it's for freedom that Christ set us free. Crossing over is a step, but not the finish line. There's an out, but then there's an in. There's a deliverance, but then there's a freedom. There's a liberation, but then there's a liberty. Don't get stuck. Don't settle. Go all the way. Keep walking. Keep building. Keep fighting. Keep moving forward. Settling is deadly. It's a poison that will kill you. It'll kill your dreams and kill your ambition and kill what God wants to build in your life and where he wants to take you. And what's more dangerous is when we brand it with comfort. We brand it with convenience. We brand it with, it's not that bad. We brand it with, hey, there's no other options. And we put a label, a different label on it, and we give it a different name. You ever see a cartoon where they have the bottles of poison, and usually they're black, they have the white label, and it's a skull with the crossbones, right? Warning, do not touch. The label warns you not to touch it. But if I rip the label off and put a new label on it like chocolate syrup and I put it in your fridge, it actually becomes more dangerous. The milder you make the label, the more dangerous you make the poison. Be careful how you label the stages in your life. Call stuff what it is and let the master architect deal with you and take you to the finished product. So 17 years have passed since the enemy stopped Israel's extreme home makeover. Haggai comes back to the Jews that were just there, 17 years. Finally, Haggai and Zechariah prophesying. Now they're coming back. Haggai walks back into town and he starts to prophesy to them. And he says, this is what the Lord Almighty says. He says, these people say, the time has not yet come to rebuild the Lord's house. It is scary when you and God say different things. He says, is it a time for you yourselves to be living in your paneled houses while this house remains a ruin? Listen, mud and brick houses were basic. They were the norm. That's what everybody used. But panels were different. Panels for building were only mentioned twice in the Bible, when Solomon built the first temple and when Solomon built the royal palace. So this was extra time. This was extra resources. This was super extra. It says, give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much but harvested little. You eat but never have enough. You drink but never have your fill. You put on clothes but are not warm. You earn wages only to put them in a purse with holes in it. Give careful thought to your ways. Go up into the mountains and bring down timber and build my house so that I may take pleasure in it and be honored. You expected much, but see, it turned out to be little. What you brought home I blew away. Why? Because of my house, which remains a ruin, while each of you is busy with your own house. Therefore, because of you, the heavens have withheld their dew and earth its crops. I called for a drought on the fields and the mountains on the grain, the new wine, the olive oil, and everything else the ground produces, on people and livestock and on all the labor of your hands. Then Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, Joshua, son of Jozadak, the high priest, and the whole remnant of the people obeyed the voice of the Lord their God and the message of the prophet Haggai, because the Lord their God had sent him, and the people feared the Lord. The Lord, perfect response when God speaks. Then Haggai, the Lord's messenger, gave this message of the Lord to the people. I am with you, declares the Lord. So the Lord stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, the spirit of Joshua, son of Jozadak, the high priest, and the spirit of the whole remnant of the people. They came and began to work on the house of the Lord. Again, perfect response when God speaks. Twice, verse 5 and 7. Give careful thought to your ways. Pay attention. Think about this for a while and carefully, because these things can actually stop you from moving forward. So he's like, where's your time spent? Where's your energy spent? Where's your money spent? Whose house are you building right now? Whose architectural plans are you following? Again, give careful thought to your ways. Yeah, but I got to provide for my family. Are you trusting in God or yourself? Yeah, but my family depends on me. Ooh, teach them not to. Teach them to depend on God and God alone. He says, you guys live in your paneled houses. All the focus was on their houses, and the house of God was simply ignored with a man-made excuse. Hey, it's not yet time to get back to work. Yet 17 years had passed. Secret, it's always time to build God's house. Here, there, and everywhere, wherever he calls us to go, whatever he calls us to do, whoever he calls us to serve. It's why we don't just focus on us. We have the Legacy Center in Eswatini and Peru and different ministries around the country, and we want to get involved, and we're always doing things to try to build his church, not just these four walls, people's lives. And I believe that whatever venture we go into in the next 40 years, he's going to provide everything that we need. But we got to get to work. But because they were focused on themselves, their resources were just never enough. He said, everything you thought was big turned out to be little. Everything you thought you needed, you lost it before you even used it. Everything you aspired to do, the really important things turned out to be nothing. Empty pockets. The heavens closed up. The daily provisions dried up. The anointing dried up. The blessings were taken away. Whenever we put our kingdom first, we will run out of resources. But there's a correct equation to this. Matthew 6:33. First things first. Seek his kingdom first, and all these things will be added to you. God's like, build my house and I will build yours. The challenge of faith is the same in every generation. Seek him first. Trust him to provide the daily necessities of life, God calls us to commit what we are, what we have, and all that we do to him. In verses 12 through 14, it says the people respond. I love this. They don't get offended. They get stirred up. They get awakened. 75 times in the Bible, this word awakened is used, and every single time it's followed by work. This is what should happen when the word of God is preached. We should be awakened. We should be stirred up. Why? To serve. I love it in Acts chapter 2 when Peter preaches his first message of Pentecost. I mean, there was no music. There was no like everybody good. Like he preached, and the people said, "What can we do? What's next? How do we serve? How do we get involved? I got to do something." The greatest sermons don't just produce amens, they produce action. The test of a great preacher is not that the congregation goes away with saying, "Hey, pastor, great sermon," but what can I do? How can I serve? How do I get involved? I don't want to just keep sitting here like a spectator. I want to get involved in building the house. Again, not just this house, this house. And so I even challenge you, how is God building this house? What's the renovations is he doing? The interior, the exterior. We shouldn't walk away just saying, "Man, that was a great day. Let's go eat." Let's be challenged. God, what are you doing inside of this church, this temple, to make it better so I can serve my family, I can serve my spouse, I can serve my kids. Let's get to work. And God's so good. I mean, he rebukes, but he's also encouraging. He shares the problem, but he gives the solutions. He says, "Hey, I'm with you, so don't fear." The two most repeated commands in the Bible, which they go so perfectly together. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear. Why? Because you are with me. I don't have to fear, because the answer is, he's there. Now, Zerubbabel, in his mind, and you would think, he had plenty to fear. He had plenty to be worried about, even embarrassed about. See, Zerubbabel was the grandson of Jehoiachin. Jehoiachin was the king that lost Jerusalem to Babylon. So he was the last king of the kingdom. He did bad, and then Babylon comes, defeats Jerusalem, tears down the temple, tears down the city, ruins everybody's home. It's Jehoiachin's fault. This is Zerubbabel's grandfather. God actually says in Jeremiah chapter 22 that Jehoiachin was a signet ring removed from God's hand. This is Zerubbabel's family line. This is like he was alive for this. This is grandpa. Grandpa lost the nation, was removed as king, taken into captivity, publicly rebuked, and God actually says he removed him from his hand. And then Zerubbabel gets named governor and put in charge to take the Jews back to Jerusalem and start rebuilding. But 17 years goes by where they started rebuilding. They started good. The enemy came and stopped the work, and now 17 years go by. So Zerubbabel's like, "Man, we messed up. We started okay. I was put in charge, like grandpa did bad and everything happened. We lost the whole kingdom. And then I get put in charge now to go rebuild. I go to rebuild. The enemy comes against us. Now 17 years go by. And now these prophets have to come and kind of like smack us up to get us going again." Embarrassed. Man, I messed up. There's no way God's going to continue to use me. I mean, why not pick somebody else? I'm obviously the wrong choice. I didn't get the job done. I mean, his own people were trash talking. His own people were saying, "Zerubbabel, man, even if you rebuild this thing, it'll never look like what Solomon built. It'll never look like the original. Like this is going to be tiny house nation compared to what Solomon built. We don't have the resources. We don't have what Solomon had. Sorry, guys, I messed up. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I'm the wrong choice. I guess God picked the wrong person." But verse 8, God's like, first, "Hey, Zerubbabel, I didn't ask you to build it like Solomon's. I just said go up in the mountain and bring me some timber. I didn't say go to Lebanon and bring me some cedar. I didn't say go to Ophir and bring me some gold. I literally said walk up the mountain right there and go grab me some wood and start building the temple. I'm only asking you for what you have access to. I didn't call you to be him. I didn't call you to be her. I didn't need his time or her time or his money or her money. I need you. This is an A and B conversation. This is between you and God. Don't ever compare yourself to anybody else. Don't ever say, oh, I can't serve like Pastor Durso or Pastor Maria. I mean, they gave their whole lives and, man, I got a job, I got a career. God has called you to do what you do, and God has called them to do what they do. They are not better, that you are not worse. Stop comparing ourselves. It's a me and you thing. Has nothing to do with anyone else. God's dealing with the building here. He's dealing with the church. He's dealing with the temple. Again, not four walls, this temple, this church. He's dealing with Zerubbabel. He's dealing with the people. He's doing some interior decorating. He's laying the foundations and putting a strong structure in place. And now here comes Haggai chapter 2. You imagine Zerubbabel's head's down. He's like, I messed up. I'm the wrong choice. I'm the wrong person. God starts to encourage him to get him back on track. He's like, I didn't ask you to do it like him. And then he goes on, he says, be strong, all you people of the land, and work, for I am with you. Again, do not fear. I will shake all nations, and what is desired by all nations will come. And I will fill this house with glory. The silver is mine, and the gold is mine. The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former house. And in this place I will grant peace, declares the Lord Almighty. It wasn't written to me, but I'm going to grab it for me. Haggai continues to prophesy and encourage Zerubbabel. He says, from this day on I will bless you. I will take you, my servant Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and I will make you like my signet ring, for I have chosen you, declares the Lord Almighty. It wasn't written to me, but I'm going to grab it for me. God removed his grandpa's signet ring from his hand, but now he tells Zerubbabel he is the signet ring. He's reinstating authority and giving Zerubbabel this special place. Signet rings were what the kings used to sign important documents or decrees. They held a certain symbol on here, and whenever they'd seal it, they'd put wax, and then they'd put their ring, and it would put the impression of the king and seal it. And anybody that saw it would know this came from the king. This has authority from the king. It has his impression on it. He's telling Zerubbabel, you are my signet ring. That anybody that sees you is going to know you have my authority. That when I send you, it's coming from the top. It's coming from the king. That everything you touch has God's impression on it. It was a special message. God's like, no, Zerubbabel, you're not a mess up. You're special, divinely and uniquely designed, and you belong to me, and everyone that sees you will know who you belong to. You will bear my authority. You will believe my impression on everything you touch. I am with you. I am for you. I have chosen you. I am with you. I am for you. I have chosen you. Zechariah is prophesying and encouraging at the same time Haggai was. See, God's doing something in Zerubbabel. He knew Zerubbabel was down, but he knew the work had to keep going. He knew he had to reignite the engine. So he goes, Zechariah, I need you to go over and encourage Zerubbabel too. I need you to say this to him. And in Zechariah chapter 4, verses 6 through 10, come on. Hey, Zerubbabel, hey, Zerubbabel. It's not by might, it's not by power, but it's by my spirit. It wasn't written to me, but I'm going to grab it for me. Like, just in case you're feeling overwhelmed and thought my house was being built depended on your manpower or your intelligence or your social media content or your influence or your personality or your connections or even your promise that you won't ever do it again. Nope. Some of you are struggling with an issue right now. You need to know you will not overcome it by your might or your power, but only by his spirit. It's not by your promises, but it is his promise of the Holy Spirit. It's good news that Jesus says he's given us the Spirit who dwells in us. So not only does he tell us how to do it, but he gives us what we need to get it done. Then he keeps going. Again to Zerubbabel. What are you, mighty mountains? Before Zerubbabel, you will become level ground. It wasn't written to me, but I'm going to grab it for me. See those big old scary obstacles, those enemy breathing down your necks, the things that you think are too big and that are standing in your way, those things that you think you can't conquer. Oh, before Zerubbabel, before you, before Mary, Maria, Jordan, Mike, whatever your name is, but it is going to be a stroll in the park because God is for us and he's with us. And he's chosen us. Then he says, the hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this temple. His hands will also complete it. See, what he starts, he will finish. It wasn't written to me, but I'm going to grab it. Then verse 10 tells Zerubbabel, don't despise small beginnings. See, if he can use a rod to split a sea, and a sling to kill a giant, and a jawbone to kill the enemy, or 5 small loaves and 2 small fish to feed thousands and thousands of people, Zerubbabel might have been small in the enemy's eyes. He might have even been small in his own eyes, but he was a signet ring on a big hand of a big God. It wasn't written to me, but I'm gonna grab it for me. And after 17 years, they begin to build again, to fight again, to move forward again. 17 years. Listen to this. I look up the number 17. What's the spiritual significance of the number 17? It means to overcome the enemy. It means complete victory. And underneath, if you look on Wikipedia or whatever, Google, wherever it was, I should have taken a picture of it. It says, it's time to let go of things that are holding you back. Some of you have been stuck. Some of you have been stuck. Some of you started something and didn't finish. Some of you wanted something, didn't go get it. Some of you have been stuck for a long time. And I believe God's saying it's time. It's time to get back to work. It's time to retake your stand as the man of the house, the woman of the house, the son, daughter that God's called you to be. It's time. I need you to let go of the things of the past. Let go of those things that are holding you back. Let go of the things that are stopping you from moving forward. It's time for complete victory over the enemy. The gates of hell will not prevail. They finished God's house in 4 years. And guess what? If you read Ezra 5 and 6, it says the very ones that oppressed them and opposed them and stopped them from building for 17 years, they were the very ones that were made to help them build, paid them for their work, and even had to provide all the resources that they needed. God works it out. He even uses the problems to help them build the house. He uses the opposition and makes them a partner. He used the broken story for part of his glory. What the enemy meant for evil, to slow you down and stop you, he uses it for good. He will not fail, so you will not fail, and the gates of hell will not prevail. And the blessing wasn't even just for him or just for the moment, it was for future generations. The line of David is restored through Zerubbabel, and he is the 11th great-grandfather of Jesus. 11 generations down the line, Jesus is born. Merry Christmas. Like his grandpa messed up, his great-grandpa messed up, his dad messed up, even Zerubbabel messed up. And you would think Jesus would be like, I'm not coming through that line. Oh, but he goes, restoration's coming. Redemption's coming. Reconciliation's coming. Oh, that's the line. Even though it messed up, that's the line that I'm coming through. So don't fear. Let's get to work. Tool in one hand, sword in the other. His kingdom first. He's got us. We don't have to worry about us. The gates of hell will not prevail. And he's called every single one of us for a very specific job. And I believe he's talking to some people even right now. He's been asking you to do something and you've been hesitating. He's been asking you to reconcile something and you've been hesitating. He's been asking you to build something, you've been hesitating. And I want to say today, it's time. It's time to let go of the things of the past, the things that have been holding you back. And say, I'm in. Whatever it takes, whatever the path looks like. God, use me. Give me a sword, give me a tool, Build in battle, build in battle, build in battle.